It's like, what do you expect? You're full on Houston role still? At this point in your career, you're not as quick anymore.
Mismatch participation has always been 100%. I'm here. I showed up to my press conference, and I won't be nearly, no matter what my press conference, what comes of it, it will not be nearly as nutso as James Harden's that he did today. Before we get to our winners and losers, we have to mention this because this is iconic. At one point, for those that have not seen this, James Harden called himself very elite as an individual, which is something I am 100% stealing in the future. I find myself to be very elite as an individual. Also great in a team setting. These are all unbelievable claims by James. Very elite as an individual, great in a team setting. He said, Philadelphia, they didn't want me. Well, that's true. And then he went on to talk about how Philly was changing my role, knowing I can give more, knowing I can do more. But if you want me to be honest, it's like being on a leash. Like me knowing in order for us to get where we want to get, I was going to have to be playing my best offensively, whether it's facilitating or scoring the basketball, and Joel as well. I never had that opportunity. I think all that plays into where I am today. When I'm in a leash, I'm not meaning shoot the ball every time. I meant like I think the game and I'm a creator on the court. So if I've got a voice to say, hey, coach, I see this. What do you think about this? Then it's all okay. Someone that trusts me or believes in me and understands me, that I'm not a system player. I am a system.
It's a banger of a line.
Somebody that can have a dialogue with me, understand and move forward and figure out and make adjustments on the fly throughout the course of the game. It's really all I care about. It's not about me scoring the basketball. I've done that already. All right, so a lot of Doc Rivers strays for the in-game adjustments in that one. Yeah, it is a great line. I'm not a system player. I am a system.
It's a really good line.
Yeah, it's very
and at one point it was true.
Yeah. Oh, it's very reminiscent of and I can't remember who originated it, but that, there's no I in team, and the guy says, well, there is an M and an E. Mm-hmm. That's what it reminds me of. I'm not a system player. I am a system. So how do we think James Harden's going to fit in with the Clippers?
I think like Russell Westbrook said after Wednesday night's game, he's like, we'll figure it out. We don't know. You guys got to chill out, saying to the media, and kind of stop asking some of these questions. We're going to figure it out over time. It's a big I don't know. I was at that game on Wednesday night, which was an awesome game, by the way. It was a really fun game. Atmosphere was amazing between the Lakers and the Clippers. And I was watching at one point, you click Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. They're going to be the fixtures out there. Then you got Zubas or PJ Tucker as your five. And then it's like, okay, is it Russell Westbrook? Is it James Harden? Is it Norm Powell? How do these touches get distributed? Who is going to sacrifice the most? Because ultimately that's going to happen. Or is it going to be matchup by matchup? Every single night's going to be much different. Come regular season time and then playoffs, it's more Kawhi and Paul George. I don't know. Like I said to you earlier in the week, I think the Clippers had to make this deal. Harden raises their ceiling. But how it's going to fit, I found the comments that Harden made today to be on the more worrisome side. Obviously, he's being honest, which you appreciate with the way he came out and said the confident things about himself and all that. But ultimately, though, I feel for this Clippers team to flourish at the highest level, the facts is that Harden said similar things entering Brooklyn. He said similar things entering Philadelphia. We know what happened with the Nets. With the Sixers, Doc Rivers, there's the reports about, Doc said he's unhappy after he wasn't named an all-star, changed the way he was playing. Like his first year with the Sixers, he was completely unwilling to shoot threes off the catch. Like he would just stop the offense and stagnate things completely. And that did carry over to his first full season this past year with the Sixers as well. Like if you're going to be playing with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George and Russell Westbrook and like even Bones Highland or Russell Westbrook. There's a bunch of talented players in that roster. Terrence Mann, like guys who are going to attack closeouts and kick it back out. You need to be willing to shoot off the catch. So how is it going to fit? I don't know until we actually see him on the floor and see what he's willing to do and what he reincorporates back into his game and how much he's actually willing to sacrifice touches, because he's saying he was on a leash, even though last season he was second in the NBA in time of possession of the ball per game behind Luka Doncic. He was third in the NBA in touches of the basketball per game behind Luka and Tyrese Halliburton. It's not like he was on a leash completely. He still ran the offense. He still had a lot of creative control.
Yeah, he's
so
on a leash.
How much more could he be looking for?
If you're Tyrese Maxey and Tobias Harris, you have to be like, what the hell?
No kidding.
You were on a leash.
Yeah. It's like, are you serious, dude? Really? Like, you were on a leash, right?
You had the ball.
It's like, what do you expect? You're full on Houston role still at this point in your career. You're not as quick anymore. And like I say this to you because these 8 years. This is our 8th year doing this. The past 7 years, I've always been the Harden guy. I still am the Harden guy. I still have belief in Harden. But the fact is that he has declined physically. He is not as bursty off the dribble anymore. He's not the same guy that he was in his prime years. He can't be the system in the same way that he was with the Rockets.
They also stopped giving him all those bullshit calls.
The rules did change. You're right. That's part of it. So I think getting back to your question, how's it going to look? I don't know. It's going to depend a lot on his willingness to do the things that he hasn't done in recent years. Cutting, like Russell Westbrook has started to do, and shooting threes off the catch, which Harden still hasn't done too much at all. And
I will give credit to Russ. Russ has sacrificed. I mean, Russ's usage is low so far, and it's not like he thinks he's still the man. There's a pecking order there. And
clearly, yes.
And Kawhi and George are the guys. And so now, where does Harden fit amongst that? Because Westbrook has just kind of played that role. And he's gotten those guys good shots. They've gotten good shots. You look at all the analytics and they're getting better shots than they have in the past. And Russ is a part of that. Also not getting crazy and just taking over possessions and flying up and down and doing his own thing. Like, he's kind of settled in what you would want, that's a guy that I never thought would have an easy time assimilating. Now, with the Harden thing, because I also think it's going to be very difficult to have both those guys out on the court, right? And so now is the destiny, how hard would it be to bring Russ off the bench?
Yeah.
Or either of them. Like, what level of sacrifice are you truly able to make?
And who's finishing these games too? Like is Russ going to be happy watching from the sidelines if Ty Lue feels Norm Powell's shooting ability off the catch is better than having Russell out there with the ball handling because now he has Harden?
Westbrook, look, in this role, he has to be on the ball.
Mm-hmm. Because
you can't throw it out to him. I mean, I guess you could have him running the baseline, but I mean, again, so how many possessions are those guys, Again, Russ has kind of faded into the background of the other two.